Pennywise is a tricky character because it essentially is an entity that's been around since before time, essentially, in a different world, in a different dimension. And he comes to Earth and hibernates, and then he's awoken and he starts feeding off of humans, preferably children. And Pennywise is one of his shapes that he takes to kind of lure children in and to feed off of them.
Is this your boat? It's a nice boat. Floats.
Even just to audition for this part was fun for me, because it was just like, do your interpretation of what you think the clown would be.
Well, I'm Bob Gray. Pennywise to my friends. What do they call you?
Georgie.
Georgie. Now we aren't strangers, are we?
There was a strange balance that he brought, you know, a strange energy, because he's very childlike. He has these big eyes, sort of childish, cute face, but he brings a darkness that is very, very unsettling. He can play this ambiguity, this dichotomy very well. It comes very easy to him. He understands it.
I did a screen test in Toronto with a very basic clown makeup. I mean, it wasn't even prosthetics or anything. They just, you know, kind of a bald cap and like, I looked like Krusty the Clown.
Haste for Pennywise, ripe fear, raw fright, belly full of blood-rubbing dread.
It was hard for me to figure out what the character looked or moved like or anything, because such a big part of it is the makeup and the costume. And I didn't know what that would be or how it would look or how it would feel to have on you. So going into it, I kind of really broke down the character kind of intellectually, like what I think this entity is, but I couldn't really physically become him until I got all the makeup and the costume on. So that was a very important piece for me to kind of, the first time I got to see the makeup on, to see how my face moved and what certain things looked like, and then the same thing with the costume.
Amazing.
What's the transformation?
So today, Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise, is getting dressed in his complete costume, hair and makeup, and we're going to have a camera test with him, and then it's going to be sent off to the studio.
How great does he look? Oh my goodness.
There was just so much going into putting on the makeup and the outfit and everything, and it's very uncomfortable. So I had kind of my little team, like the little Pennywise squad, which is Neil and Shane, who's the two prosthetics guys, and Miranda overseered my costume, and Jasmine to put in my contacts. Like, we were a little crew of like my team of people. They were the ones that saw me, did me, and made Pennywise come to life. There's prosthetic pieces around my cheeks to kind of get those little childlike roundness of the face. There's the teeth. Pennywise is created out of the imagination of children.
Time to float.
So he lives and breathes by children, or because of children in a sense. So it only made sense to me that there's a childlike quality to him, because he's forever linked to children.
No, don't.
There was like all these different things that I've been meaning to put into a character. Then this character appeared, and I just kind of put all these things together to make as much of a weird, disturbing performance as possible.
Egg boy.
I do this thing with my lip. It's a thing that I've been doing since I was a little kid, and I always wanted to bring this like lip thing into a character. So going into the audition, I was like I wanted to like use the face and like play around with that. I had kind of a lazy eye, and I can like make it go. It meant a lot for me that Andy responded to whatever I did, and because of that, we did have kind of a connection from the beginning. He trusted me, and I trusted him, so we kind of both figured out what the character was together, and then I could really go for it and know that I was in good hands.
We'll float down here.
It mentions in the novel somewhere, Pennywise is its favorite form. He really enjoys doing the clown, so that was something that I wanted to play up as well, that he's having fun while he's doing this.
Beep beep, Richie.
You're playing an entity that's playing a clown. So it's like these kind of steps. And I wanted to get that into the character, that there's kind of glitches almost, that it's not just a clown, it's just something off, something weirder, something even more sinister. I wanted to create this feeling that you never know what's gonna happen when the clown's around. I did have a separation because of everything. And you walk out to the crew and they go like, oh, hey Bill, how are you? Go, those eyes are cool, yeah. It was a hard time for people even to just like be normal around you as well because of how you looked. It was by far also, in a way, the loneliest production I've ever worked on, at least from my part, you know? But I think it also benefited and helped the performance. The kids have shot like a month and a half already, and they've gotten to know each other, and they were all like kind of best buddies at this point. And nobody had seen Pennywise, or not, the kids hadn't seen me. The first scene I shot was with Jack. I think it's probably one of the, if not the most intense scene in the film in terms of Pennywise and another actor, because it's so in his face. As I'm doing it, I'm like, this is great, but like I can't pull back now because we're rolling. And then a cut, fantastic cut. And I just go like, okay, Jack, are you okay? And he just goes like, oh, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. I love what you're doing, man. I love what you're doing.
And cut. Real enough for you, Billy? Real enough for Georgie.
Oh my god.
Actually gagging for real. That's amazing.
I think this is probably the most exhausting character I've ever played. Every scene I'm in this film is just 100% energy at all times. So it wasn't easy at all. I'm all for having a stunt guy doing something that's dangerous. There's so much about some of the fight sequences in the movie where Pennywise's physicality must be Pennywise's physicality, and I wanted to bring my movement and physicality in as much as I could. It was exhausting. We would do the scene and, you know, it's like so much physicality and noise and screaming, and I would messing up my voice, and the kids are like all fighting. And as soon as they said cut, I'm like on the ground just like just breathing, and like so the kids walk over, it's like, hey Bill, you okay, man? You okay? Yeah, it just a second, just let me catch my breath here. All right, little man.
But then, of course, they ended up spending a full day in a flooded basement.
Perfect. You want me to kind of cook?
Just the ice. I need to keep your chin down. Much more threatening.
Two. You'll float too. You'll float too.
You'll float too.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Cut.
That was very good.
Come join the clown, Eds. We all float down here.
I don't need to base this out of something human, really. There's definitely human aspects of it, because like everything is. So like psychopathy or like evil or sinister or has, you know, lust and hunger and like all these feelings are directly human or animalistic at least. And those are things that you could pinpoint and relate to, or for me to relate to, and then create a character through it.
That's great.
Let's see the one before.
Yeah. That's like resting on his head, like at the angle.
It is different, obviously, like any adaptation should be, but the essence is so much there. And then having someone like Stephen King approving of it, when he saw it, it's the seal of approval that you would want, right? The guy that created the novel thinks the movie did a good job. So I do hope that fans will feel the same way.
Right fear, raw fright, a belly full of blood, dripping dread. Can you smell tasty Georgie on my breath?
Hey guys, are you ready to beat the shit out of me? I can't hear you.
You were being considered for this role, but you had to audition.
Yeah.
for the role of Pennywise, and you decided, is this right that you were going to dress in the clown makeup for the audition?
Not entirely. Well, so the audition itself, they were like, hey, I was in LA, and they were like, do you want to audition for Pennywise? And that is not, you know, an opportunity that you get very often. You know, it's such an amazing character to do, and you know, there's no real restrictions to whatever, you know, what you can and cannot do. So, you know, I just started incorporating things that I wanted to incorporate, like the lip and my weird eyes and all these kind of things to kind of mold out the character. And I did my first audition, and it went really well. And Andy, the director, you know, wanted me for a callback, and it was down to 4 people. And I guess 2 of the 4 that were left had come in clown face for the first audition. I had not. So he wanted us who didn't come in, you know, with the clown face on to come with clown face, and the ones who did not. So and I didn't know really what to do with that, but I was like, okay, I guess I'll get a little clown makeup on my face. And it's the morning of, and I get into my car. And oh yeah, and so Andy, the director, he asked me like the day before, he's like, can you figure out maybe a laugh? You know, because there wasn't really a laugh in the scene. So like, work on a laugh. I'm like, okay, sure. And I was staying in this house, and there was 4 people in the house, and I felt sort of really self-conscious about practicing a clown laugh
around the people. Sure.
But I get in the car, and you know when you're in the car, you get into this like safe bubble of being in your own car, in clown face, and I'm like, here it is. And I just started, you know, with the laugh.
in the car.
Driving through Hollywood in clown face, laughing like a maniac. And the strangest thing, so in the casting director's place, it was only street parking. So I had to park the car and go out and walk 2 minutes to the thing in clown face. And there were people.
Are you just in regular clothes, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, you're regular clothes in clown face?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, so there's two things to go. There's 2 ways to go about this. Either I become really self-conscious, being like, sorry, I'm an idiot, I'm an actor, yeah, I'm sorry, or I sort of try to be in character.
Yeah.
And I did the latter, so I just walked, and I was like, and these, sort of construction workers and people walking around in Hollywood, and they sort of looked at me like not surprised at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they just saw like a Spider-Man with a fanny pack.
Yeah, and right. This is like
it's such a
Tuesday morning.
It's such an
Tuesday morning in Hollywood.
You have easily the most evil, demonic smile I think I've seen in all of horror, and I've worked with Andy Richter for a long time. There it is. There's something about that smile I had not. Was that something that you've been working on for a long time, or did you come up with that when they approached you about playing Pennywise?
Well, it's a funny story because my older brother Gustav, who's an actor as well, he had this ability to do, point his lip in a very strange way. And for some reason, I don't know how I understood that I could do it as well, but I was like maybe 10 years old, and I'm like,
oh my, get in there. Can we see that? Do you mind, just for that camera right there?
One? Number 3.
Yeah, there we go.
So I came up with this character called Jörgen, which is a Swedish name, and I would pull my T-shirt up like over my head, so you wouldn't see my, just
isolate
the opening,
face.
yeah.
Just isolate the face.
And then I would do this face, and then I would chase my little brother.
You'd chase your brother?
Yeah, and scare him.
And how's your little brother doing now?
He's okay. He's traumatized seeing the film.
Yeah.
Not again.
Well, it's very good to have you here. You're from Sweden, I understand?
I'm from Stockholm, that's right.
Stockholm. Yes, I've heard of that. What goes on in Stockholm? Is it a fun place to live?
It's a place, yeah.
Are you still living there?
I've been sort of on the road for 7 years, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Acting and going around and whatever. Do you have a home?
I've
or are
been
you with your
baseless
fam-
for 7 years.
Well, for those, your last name is very, at the least, familiar to people because your dad, Stellan's an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor.
He was in, well, he's in so many movies. He's in Good Will Hunting.
That's right.
The Thor movies. He's
Thor
in.
movies.
Your brother Alexander is an actor.
Yeah.
So is this something that your dad encouraged you to do, to be an actor? Is this something he wanted?
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
He has 8 kids, and the first rule is you have to become an actor.
8 children. How many
Yeah.
of them are actors?
Half so far.
Really?
So 4, yeah.
And there's a possibility that more Skarsgård...
Because there's the 2 ones are very little, so...
Do you hope that they don't, just to kind of reduce some of the competition? Because
yeah.
there's...
Yeah. I thought I was going to be the youngest one, and then my little brother is 5 years younger and
then
better
who
looking.
knows what could continue to happen? You never
I know, yeah.
Nowadays.
It's just a whole kind of Greek epic, the story.
Yeah, and when you were a kid, did you travel with your father and go to movie sets and get to see all that stuff?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so he would shoot, and my dad's career kind of took off when I was a kid, and he would, international career at least, and he would shoot all these like very exotic locations, and you know, he would bring the entire family and pretty much break even.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of people to bring.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids to bring, and he would rent a house for us all to come.
Do you remember being on any of those sets and seeing something that still kind of lasts in your mind?
I don't know, because I get the question a lot where it's like, oh, you come from an acting family, and for a kid, acting is like the most appealing job ever. Like you're 8 years old and you're on a set, and your dad's your dad, but like on set he has like a gun, fake mustache, and like the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
So for me, it's like as a kid, like that's what you do being a kid, playing like with your friends. So the appeal of this imaginary, you know, fantastical way of just being paid and being adult and acting like a child, I think was planted at a very young age.
And now you get to be a clown who eats children.
Exactly. Yeah. We go full circle here. Yeah.
We have a picture of your look. People are scared already. Well, I don't watch scary movies because I get too scared. But
yeah.
I heard this one is particularly scary. I think you got a good one on your hands there.
But you'll never watch it?
No, I will never see it. No,
really?
No, not.
You should.
Do you like scary movies?
It's weird. I've kind of become this like genre actor now, it seems like, and I never really got into the idea of getting scared.
Yeah, me neither. I don't like it. You know why? It scares me.
Yeah, right. But there's 2 ways to go about it. It's like some people really enjoy and love the sensation of fear, and I get like upset and angry.
I think that's what God intended for us to experience with fear.
Right.
Like when we see bears coming at us, we're not supposed to go, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
We're supposed to run. Exactly. Yeah. That's a good lesson for everybody. All right. Well, thank you for being here. The movie is called It. It opens in theaters Friday. Bill